Greetings, and welcome to another episode of Jewish History on the Road. Today, I'm taking a trip down to the forest of Ben Shemen to uncover one of the least appreciated but most foundational aspects of Jewish history. Even before the dream of a modern, independent Jewish state, early Zionists had been advocating for a Jewish return to the soil of their ancestors. Emphasis on soil. Because so much of Jewish tradition and culture is rooted in the agricultural cycles of this particular climate and terrain, 19th century authors like Moses Hess and Ahad Ha'am saw agriculture as key to revitalizing Jewish culture and liberating it from the abstraction of religious orthodoxy. Technically speaking, this isn't Ben Shemen's first appearance on this channel. Nearby Modi'in was the home of the Maccabees, and later served as ground zero for the centuries of deforestation and soil erosion that began with the Roman takeover of Jewish-owned lands after the Bar Kokhba revolt. In 1912, after Jews from the diaspora had begun taking up farming and replanting the forests, two botanists, Ephraim and Hannah HaReuveni, dreamed of establishing a garden which contained every species of plant named in the Bible, from Aleppo pines to olives, and which could be used as a teaching tool about agriculture during the First Temple period. In 1964, their son Noga brought their dream to life as Neot Kedumim National Park. One thing you might notice about Neot Kedumim is that, despite being surrounded by thick woodland on three sides, to the north the forest just stops. The village you see now is Budrus, to the northeast, and is actually part of the Palestinian territories. The Jewish National Fund, or Kakal, has a standing policy not to plant trees outside the bounds of the actual state of Israel. As for the area directly to the north, it is in Israel proper, but is part of a vast military base and thus off limits for civilian use. 140 years ago, this is what the land I'm standing on looked like. It wasn't enough simply to put a seed in the ground. The efforts of Kakal have required the import of millions of tons of soil. If, on your birthday, some extended relative had a tree donated in your name in Israel instead of just giving you a Sega Genesis, this is where that donation went. And no, I'm not bitter at all. So how about those plants? Well, it turns out that if a plant was mentioned in the Bible, it was probably really useful. During the Israeli War of Independence, Hannah Reuveni taught soldiers how to use this plant, the prickly burnet, as improvised mattress stuffing. And if you're looking for plants that will reassure Jewish stereotypes, you can't go wrong with the caper. Unfortunately, they seem to be out of season, so salmon on a bagel with the capers on a square plate will have to wait. Indeed, in November, the biblical harvest has mostly come and gone. Oddly, for a park dedicated to the First Temple period, Neot Kedumim actually contains some remains from the Second Temple period. This village was established during the Hasmonean period, and survived all the way to the early Islamic conquests. And this enormous mikveh was used by farm workers to purify themselves before harvesting olives and grapes whose respective oil and wine were to be used in the Jewish temple. Neot Kedumim National Park is located outside Modi'in, halfway between Jerusalem and Tel Aviv, and is closed on Saturdays and holidays. It has a 1.5-kilometer path accessible for strollers and wheelchairs, as well as a 3.5-kilometer trail for hikers, and guides are available for large groups, provided they call in advance. I'm Sam Aronow, and I'll see you next time for more Jewish history on the road.